Okay, so if anybody would like to, share their screen and do a quick recap of today's session, that'd be awesome. Maybe something you've learned, something you pulled from it, something you like. Anybody's open to do it. If not, that's fine too. I'll just go over it. Just wondering if anybody, because I do think that after every single session that you have, winning or losing is a strong point to go over it and see, okay, how could you have done better? How could, or what did you like? What did you learn? What could you have done better? All that kind of stuff. So
I just have a short comment. I don't want to share my screen, but one of the things I think I've learned over the last week is I love Protégé, in that as we're, like you're describing, as we're entering the market in a, going in the opposite direction of the trend, each time, let's give example of a buy. It's a buy market and it's going backwards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Each time I enter a buy and it drops, and I enter another buy and it drops, I notice that the break-even line on Protégé just keeps dropping down. So your expectations, they'll go back, and it's easier to go back to where you're expecting it to go back when you buy in at the lower mark. It brings the break-even down line closer and closer to you.
So learning where break-even has been helpful for. Right?
Yeah, it's been very helpful to me to watch that line come down or go up, but depending on where I'm at.
We have a brave soul. So Nick, go ahead and share. I wonder if you can share. I think you can share your screen. Everybody be nice to Nick. Nick, go ahead and say your name. Hi, I'm Nick.
Hi, I'm Nick. I'm a trading addict.
I've been a trader for. Hi, Nick. Everybody. Hi, Nick.
Hi, Nick. Hi, Nick.
Here's your chip.
My virtual background is from Halloween.
That's awesome.
So ignore that. Okay, so this is the start. Can you see my mouse moving?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was the start of our session. I think right here is the hour, top of the hour. And I got in some pretty much exactly what the challenge was. I got in some cells and thinking that we were going to range off this top. Mm-hmm. And then it didn't. So I had to layer in and I got out. I generally will put in my first layer. When I put in my second layer, I'll move my first layer's take profit to basically break even. And then the second one, I'll kind of break the middle, or I might do an extra trade here. I thought maybe we would be in an uptrend now. So I bought right here and it didn't hold. So I had to do it again. And I actually had to go 4 down. I guess I was thinking we'd go all the way up here and retest this. So I bought in for some short run-ups. And then it looks like I bought here. And this gets fuzzy. I'm not sure what I was doing in here. Apparently I was buying. And then I think I was maybe following you, thinking that we might get since this was coming down, I was thinking we might get a retest down here. So put on some sells. Of course, it went up. So put on some more sells. So I'm in buys and sells. And then I got out here with those and these. Did the sell thing. Apparently, I got out at the worst time for both of them. And then we had I stopped really kind of trading in here. Well, not a ton because of the news. Didn't do a great job on the news, and then finished off up here with a couple buys after you announced our challenge. So I was able to get out here, and that's the end of the session.
So what were some of maybe learning points for you today? If you were to go back and say.
Yeah, I would say, like Patricio said, or maybe it was Ernest, I really enjoyed the ranging market more. I think it's before trading with everybody every day, it was not obvious to me that there was a different character to the market. Like sometimes I would be doing really well, and sometimes I couldn't seem to find the bias, and it'd be really hard. And then there's other times where it's like, it didn't even matter where I put on a trade. Eventually it would hit, which is probably like this kind of a market.
Sure.
And you have definitely pointed out like, this is time to wobble. This is not time to wobble. But in my head, I'm just like, I don't know. I just threw that out the window, I guess. But it's starting to be more clear because it's like the days where there's pre-news or there's news, I'm just like, oh, I see. It's just going. It's not respecting support and resistance. There's no, how am I supposed to play this? And so and then the challenge that you presented actually is really helpful, because I thought, oh man, I just really need to work on my accuracy, because like you can see almost every single time I've had to do like 2 or 3. And it's like, I'm like, oh, I'm too impatient. I'm getting in at the wrong times. And so it's pretty nice for you to say that's your bread and butter, I guess.
Yeah, where you kind of build into into a turn before the turn happens. The key is, though, what I like to do personally, and I just wanted to add value, or just my 2 cents real fast, is like right here, kind of we saw that and started building into this turn, right? Mm-hmm. So we started building into the turn. These are what you call early trades. And so I don't like going heavy here. I still like to, if I have one lot is my trading position, then I love putting at least 50% of that, or 0.50 on here. And then I love putting the other 0.5 after you get the confirmation and you get that ride down, right? Sometimes you miss out on this because that turn is so fast that you miss out on this opportunity. But my favorite days to trade are when you can build in, or where you can build into an early move early, and then after confirmation, you stack the rest of those on for that move down, right?
And that's the other half you've been saving for the fix it. Is that true?
No. So just to keep math simple, if you have 2 lots in totality that you want to trade, or that's your risk management, right? Then I always take 1 lot as my normal trades that I can place, like normal. And like I can put them anywhere. I can put some early trades on. I can put trades on after confirmation. That's what that is for. The other lot is for opportunities and fix it. So opportunities, like if I see this, like normally when you see a big candle that breaks that it's not in an outside range, you will usually fade that candle. I didn't today, because I'm like, it's not an outside range. So I don't usually when it breaks the top or breaks the bottom. But normally when you see a bigger candle, I fade that as an opportunity. So I dip into this to hit that. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But great assessment. Great. Thank you for sharing. That was awesome.
You are welcome.
Appreciate
Thank you for having me.
Anybody else have anything they'd like to add to, or?
David, the built-in, you have to look ahead and see where you may have a turn.
Correct. But that's why price cycles helps with that. When you're at the end of a price cycle, most likely you're going to get a turn. When you're at the end of a price cycle and it's at an action point, you're most likely to get a turn. Right. And so you place trades where you're most likely to get a turn. And if that turn doesn't happen, then you place another layer where you're most likely to get a turn. And you always place layers where you're most likely to get that turn. And eventually you're going to be right. Eventually you're going to be right. You'll get that turn. Patricio, you had a question.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's I just wanted to be sure, is that link to the form where we need to submit our results every day working? That's one. And the second one is there, we as captains were not able to put that last time I tried. I don't know if that's already corrected.
I know that we did have it on that form. So if your team is still not able to post, let me know, but that should be corrected. It should be corrected. And because you could only post once, and we had to fix it to where you could allow you to post multiple times, right? So that should be corrected.
Okay. And what you said yesterday, just for the benefit of everyone, is that we need to just input numbers, no commas, no periods, no words, no nothing, right?
Right. When you're putting in your end balance, please don't put in $10,192 and then adding a comment. It could have been better, but I didn't have a lot of time to trade, right? Because that messes up the formulas when you add text to that field. So then it wrecks the automation because I'm only looking for numbers. So,
okay.
But yeah, it's good, great question or comment. Cliff, you're sharing your screen. Was there a reason?
Yeah.
Did you want to ask a question?
Yeah. I started somewhere down here. Can everyone see that?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because when I got in, the market was going down, and each time I was trading right along in this area until it break out, and I thought it was going to come up to here, and so I started buying, and it came right back down, and so I lost all that I had here.
Okay.
And so I noticed it break out here again. And I thought it was going to come here and test. So I bought, it went up, I got that. And then it turned here. I was expecting a turn earlier and it didn't. So I thought it was going to go up and I lost. So after this was the area I was wobbling in this.
Okay.
So this is the kind of area you said the wobbling works, right?
Right, exactly.
This consolidation, all this area.
Right.
And then just after the news, I think I got this big run.
Okay.
And you said, where's this? You said where to feed this. So as it comes up here, I was selling. And then it came back and I got out here.
Okay.
That was perfect.
So what are some of your learning points? Like what did you take away?
My takeaway basically here is to be more, what I would say, focus and when it might break out.
Okay. Can you identify those might breakout points, or do you want me to kind of show you that? Or do you have that?
Well, I am looking at across here. Let's see. I was looking across here. And since it came several times it came up here. And as you said, if it comes more than once, quite likely it is going to break it.
Yep.
So this particular candle break out, but then it came back. So what I am learning is that sometime when it breaks out and I'm looking for a follow through, it doesn't. This blue candle here seemed to be the one that came back and test, and then it went start going all the way. That's what I noticed. I don't know if there's anything else you'd like to add.
I was trying to, but I don't seem to find my annotations. That sucks. Like I lost my annotations. I don't know why Zoom is having issues. All right. So, but without me being able to kind of draw on your chart, where you have those arrows, those anytime you have touch points, and it doesn't have to be the exact touch points, but anytime you're starting to play with the upper ranges, that is a good bounce point and or a good break point. And so my thing is that I traded light every time it got up to there, or I would get out and trade light. But then when it turned and reversed here, I don't know if you guys noticed, but anytime it would reverse, not down here or not up here, I was stacking in a lot more positions a lot heavier. There's multiple times I was trying to smack that button, but it wasn't working like it does in Alveo, where I could get into 10 or 20 trades. And so I was trying to get into a lot of trades. Like, I know you guys can't really
At
see
this
my
point here?
mouse. No, let me share my screen. Let me share my screen. Can you guys see my screen?
Yeah.
Now I have annotations. I guess maybe I don't have it when you guys share your screen. Let me zoom out a little bit.
You had annotations on my screen.
Yeah. Maybe Cliff just didn't allow it or something. I don't know.
Banned them.
Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, like right here. Like this is kind of the range. And anytime it was on the upper side of this range, like touching here, coming up here, I was taking the sells, but I wasn't getting into heavy sells here. So there were lighter sells here. So I was taking the turns. But then down here, when it turned down here, I was getting in heavier. So I was like, when I mean heavier, I didn't change my position sizes. So I was putting on 2 layers or 3 layers down here.
Right. Of sells or buys?
Buys. Right. So you're looking for the turn here because we're at the end of a price cycle. If I get that turn here, I can ease. So let me just clear this real fast. My annotation.
Yeah, because you start. Yeah. You were trying to say buys. You were saying sells, but yeah.
Okay, so I was selling here, buying here, right? And so I was getting in heavier on my buys because if it did come down, if it did come down and I was put myself into a layer of loss, it's a lot easier to fix this layer or still miss that turn because you had another turning point here, right? So you had a turn point here, you had a turn point here, and you have a turn point here. And if it comes down all the way to here, you're a double price cycle. And so the likelihood of a turn becomes greater every time the market runs 2-3 price cycles, right? Every time the market runs in one direction, the longer it runs in one direction, the more likelihood you're going to get a turn, right? And so knowing that, I've been able to go heavy here. I would have gone heavy here. I would have gone heavy here and I would have gone heavy here for it to come all the way back. And again, going back to my one, all I need is one price cycle and it would have fixed all of my trades if that would have happened. But I look for those opportunities where if it's not touching the bottom, I put in a heavy layer here, which is 2 layers here, but up against the top range, I'm like 1, maybe even like a half a layer if I'm nervous about it. But it's not the best place to buy. You don't buy here, bad place to buy. But it's also not a place to go heavy on your sells just in case it does break. It breaks the top of this, like right here, it broke. If I was into sells here, you're not getting those back, right? You have to take a loss on these sells. So case in point, if you did have sells here, you should be very light right here. You know what I mean? Because because if it breaks up to the top, you have no idea if that break's going to be this break or if it's going to be this break and come back. You know what I mean?
Let's see if I understand you. Down here,
you have to draw.
You said you would buy here and buy here because there are several points.
Right here.
Because there are several points that are action points where the market would likely turn.
Correct.
But up here, you do not have several that it will turn to go back down. So you'd be light. That's what you're saying.
Correct. Exactly.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm drawing a kind of it would be on this point. I'm drawing like anything inside of this range right here is normal trading, right? And I show that a lot. Anything below this and above it is where I look to go light. Because if it does break out against me, I can fix that position a lot easier. Make sense?
That's where I lost most of my trade in the breakout.
Sure. But if you were light, if you kind of, so I don't prepare for a breakout, but my risk management is in case it does. Does that make sense?
Okay.
And eventually you get to the point where, okay, it's tested once, twice, 3 times a lady. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to break out. So when you start seeing that, here's the first, second, usually almost high percentage of the time on the third attempt, you're going to get a breakout. Right. And so by knowing that, you could have stacked into buys here, which I think we did a little bit of I think we did. And yeah, we did. And we were able to capitalize on that breakout. And I said, yeah, you can ride the wave or you can get out here. And riding the wave would have been the better option, because if we rode the wave, we probably would have gotten out right here when that crossed over. Right. So, but I got out because I'm just done trading. So, and then I got back in on the challenge.
Dave, can I make a comment? If you look at the lows, on this trend, each time you look at where it comes down to its low point, it's higher than the low point before. And that is what I call a channel line. If you draw a line between all the lows, you have a channel going up.
Well, this is your channel right here.
Well,
that's an obvious channel.
We'll call it a trend line.
If you're talking.
Yeah, that's that right there. That's what I'm talking about. And so what I'm saying is I can't comprehend anybody taking a loss on longs or buys, because at worst case scenario in a trend going up, if you just hold them, you'll repair them.
Mm-hmm. I could see that in this market.
No, I'm only talking about today.
But but you got to be cognizant of this happening, right? So I hate telling people I never hold on to trades. Like even today, I was pilling off losses.
And I know it's contrary to the wobble technique, but I'm just saying though.
No, I think it's important. It's important
in a climbing
distinction.
Market. Yeah.
No, I think it's important to know that you need to trade with risk management always. And by holding on to trades, I think sometimes people tend to ignore risk management. And so that's the only thing I'm trying to say is that you don't want to ignore risk management. Like right here, I'm taking losses, right? I take losses every single day. I take losses every single day because it's just proper risk management technique, right? And so to hold on to your trades, if you hold on to your trades and you don't have proper risk management, yes, there's time and place for sure that you want to hold on to your trades, but there's also I would say holding on to your trades when you're winning, right? When you're losing, get rid of those bad boys. Figure out a way to pill them off, right? Take a loss at break even. Take a loss at taking profit on one and taking them out on the other. Sure. But I have to get going because I have to go teach boot camp. But does anybody have just really a quick question or anything like that?
I have a quick question on Cliff's thing.
Sure.
But like if you got into sales, I don't know if I can draw. So if you got into sales right here,
like right now, like the market.
Like right
where you're drawing. Okay. I see.
And then like it kept going and you're now at this like danger zone. Would you still put on your, layer to sell again to average, or are you now like, well, this is too risky?
Gotcha. So if it pops up and touches the top, I'm still selling here.
We're being light.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, but I'm still selling. I'm putting a sell here on a bounce. And it depends. So the question here really depends on how much you have here. So if you're selling, how much you have in risk, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I may put a sell here and see, but if particularly, I also take into account how many times is it tested the top.
Okay.
And if it's the first test, then I'll probably just put a normal one on, right? And if it bounces up, I'll probably still continue to sell because usually it comes back down. So it just depends on the test. So I'm often looking at that. Is this the first test, second test, or third test? So I'll trade that differently depending on the number of tests it has,
Okay.
right? Because this happens to be like the first test, I would trade it that way. But if it was the third test, I might have to not put a layer here, see if it breaks, put buys on, make money on the buy run, come back down. A lot of times it comes back down and test this. So on the turn, I'll make money on the sells. And then right here, I'll get out of all of this and use my money here and my money here to get out of all of that.
Okay.
So it just depends really. The thing is on the test. How many, where are we at in that test? Does that make sense?
Yes. Yes, it does.
So
Thank you.
a lot of variables, a lot of things. That's why I said this at boot camp, and I'll tell you guys this, that ultimately, yeah, if you're brand new trying to learn how to trade, you're drinking from the fire hose. There's a lot to learn. Learning the mechanics, learning the lingo, learning the jargon, that's the easy part. But having seeing all the different iterations of the market, that takes time, right? And learning that if the market does this, what are all the moves that it can do? Now, there's only, a handful of moves that the market's going to do, and you got to pick the one that you think is the highest probability of action, right? And so that's what you're learning, is how many iterations of the market do you have to go through to understand, well, the market's going to do this, this, or this, and then pick the highest probability, right? And the more times that you see this, you can start picking the highest probability. And eventually you're going to get to the point where I've seen it all. And so I'm like, oh, the market's doing this, so I do this, right? And that just comes with time.
Okay.
So thanks, guys. I appreciate it. It's a great session today. So appreciate the feedback, appreciate the interaction, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm going to change the event tomorrow. We're going to start at 6:00. So we're going to start an hour earlier tomorrow for non-farm.
All right.
So prepare for that. So if you come in at the normal time, you've missed it.
So come 5 minutes early or exactly 6?
I'm going to be in at exactly 6. I'm not waking up any early for you, Patricio. Sorry.
That's too bad.
I'm just kidding. All right, guys. We'll see you. We'll see you in the AM. Thanks.
Okay. See you tomorrow.
Bye.